Hello, everybody. Welcome to Canadian Shield. My name is Sterling, and I'm your host. So, the Housing Committee met today with some two poverty experts and a broker, a real estate broker. One of the poverty experts is had something very interesting to say that I think that all of us would be beneficial to, like all of us would benefit from hearing. Now, it does kind of go to what I've been trying to indicate to people, that the many of problems of housing is also related with City Hall. The amount of taxes that are put on, the amount of extra additional costs that are given not only to the builder but to the home purchaser are very severe. Now, in this meeting, one of the brokers suggested that we should take mortgages to 35 or 40 years, which I just cannot understand why they would think that that is a great suggestion. To take your house, your amortization to 40 years, you would need to buy that house at the age of 25 to be able to retire and have your house paid for. I mean, the absurdity, the ludicrousness of extending a mortgage to 40 years is a little bit, it indicates they have a severe lack of problem-solving abilities. It's the same old adage, right? When you're a hammer, everything is a nail. And these guys, everything is just the same systems over and over again. And what I'm trying to let you understand is the problem is right in front of our face, and we have to hold the city accountable, because all of them have to change the way that they operate until all of us are living a better lifestyle. That's what their job is to do. Now, before we get into it, I would encourage you to like, comment, subscribe, hit this notification bell, because then when I put up videos, it'll come right into your feed, and that will help me overcome the algorithm put forth by the Liberal government. Okay, so let's get into it. This fella is an advocate out of Toronto for, I think it's for affordable housing and homelessness and stuff like that. What is interesting is what he had to say. So let's listen to what he says, and then I'll explain to you why I agree with him almost completely.
One of the key issues that Canada has not grappled with is the bizarre way that we apply taxation to new housing. So just to paint a picture for you, in year 2000, the cost of a benchmark Toronto condo, around 950 square feet, was $145,000 in dollars at that time. In 2023, that would be equivalent to $245,000. Now, the benchmark price of a condo in Toronto, which is now below 800 square feet, is $750,000, which is 3 times the real inflation-adjusted value of what a benchmark condo cost in year 2000, 25 years ago. Now, if you want to build a new condo of around 750 square feet, it'd almost be impossible to sell that condo for less than $1 million. And laden within that, both in the price that gets charged to the consumer as well as the taxes that they pay on top of it, over $250,000 of taxes would be applied between the HST, which if you're a first-time home buyer, you'll save $24,000. So you're looking at $130,000, subtract $24,000. If you're looking at land transfer taxes in Toronto, you're looking at $30,000, subtract about $8,000 if you're a first-time home buyer, plus about $800,000 to $120,000 in development charges, plus another $20,000 in community benefit charges, and another 6 types of levies and fees. Of the 12 that CMHC has suggested are all new housing apply to this. So governments in Canada now charge more in taxes on every incremental unit of housing in this country than housing used to cost just 25 years ago.
Okay, so I know that he said a lot of numbers. What I think is important to hear is a couple of things. And before I get into it, I would just like to point out that this fella is in a Toronto condo. And the long black handles that you see behind him, I'm going to call them black, could be dark gray, I suppose. One of those is going to be a closet, and the other one is going to be the bed. And understanding the way that these apartments work, there's probably the dresser inside the closet. So you would you would let the bed down, you would put the bed up, and then you would get dressed. I mean, why do we, the second largest country on earth, need to cram ourselves in like that? Who is the only one that benefits when this density happens? Are only the landlords. No one else. I get that you don't always want to mow your lawn. You might not always want to have a house in the classic sense. But at the same time, nobody says, yeah, let me live in a closet where I have to put my bed up on the wall so I could walk around in it. I mean, we have to achieve a standard of living. We have to establish that we're not going to allow builders to build 700 square foot apartments. We have to start this kind of thing. Now, I know that I've talked a little off topic there, but I don't care. Like, this is important to me, so I'm just talking from my gut here. Okay, so let's go back to this guy's math that you might not have understood. What he said was, in the year 2000, an apartment in Toronto at 900 square feet, a condo, would have cost 150 grand. Today's money, that would be 250 grand approximately. However, that exact same the new condo of 2023, 2024 would be only 750 square feet, and it will cost you 750 grand. If you were to build it today, it's going to cost you more than $1 million if it was just starting to be built today, because there are 12 taxes put on a new house, 12. And the CMHC, if you're a first-time home buyer, the CMHC, if you apply to them and you give them and they accept you, they make a bunch of adjustments. You don't need as much to pay down, and they pick up certain amounts of the taxes, so on and so forth. But we already have established that the first-time home buyer is basically extinct in Canada. Who at 24 years old living alone is going to be supporting a $200,000 income, which will permit them to be eligible for the mortgage, and not to mention the interest rates. However, let's just take it for what it is. $250,000 in Toronto taxes in Toronto will change that condominium from what is today $1 million to $750,000. But those taxes will also help the unit overall. That's just the purchasing taxes. There are other taxes that are put onto the guy that's got to dig the dirt. He's got to haul it to a certain location. There's a lot of extra additional taxes that are put on there. And there's certainly much more than the GST. The carbon tax is going to be crazy on a new build with all of the transportation costs. Everything is heavy when you're building something, so it takes extra fuel to get it there, and it's all done on a larger vehicle. I just wanted to point it out, and then I have some images here that I really want you to take a look at. Now, what I did was I took 250,000 Canadian dollars and I converted it into American. It's about 170,000, I believe. All of these that you see in here these are all available in Niagara Falls. And as you can see, many of them, 1,500 square feet. It's on a 5,000 foot lot. It's 140 grand. 900 square feet, it's 99,000. These are US dollars, so they would still be cheaper than the taxes that the municipal governments are putting on a new build in Toronto to live with your neighbors surrounding you in a room that you can touch both sides at the same time if you're tall enough, meaning that you can really lay on the floor without touching both walls. And Niagara to Toronto is only, I think it's about like 90 minutes. So you're not really talking about much of a commute. I mean, there are people in Toronto who live in the city who commute 90 minutes. No ifs, ands, or buts about that. Every single solitary day, both directions. So do you ask yourself, well, is it better for me to just buy a house in the States and drive and give all of my taxes and all of that money to the American governments, who clearly understand that one of the very basic important things that a human needs is space to live, a place they can call their own? It seems to be lost on some of the governments in Canada. It seems to be lost on because nobody's telling them that they have to put on the brakes. Nobody is saying to them, look, it's enough is enough is enough. And as a culture, we need to start telling ourselves that it's important, that it's enough is enough is enough. We have to start putting pressure on our city hall. We have to start putting pressure on our city hall, and they have to figure out ways to make money other than draining every last penny they can get from you, the people. Because if that's all they are, then they're not being the leaders that they want to be. They're just simply being the punishment. They're harming you. They're not helping you. All right, I'm going to wrap here. I want to thank y'all for listening, and I would appreciate it if you would like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell, because then it would end up in your feed. I have memberships if you are interested in supporting the channel that way. And I have an open GoFundMe so that I can get some better equipment. That's in the About Me on the channel. I'll talk to you next time.